Um, but for real, I run an animation studio called Sirnare Ltd, and we develop content for organizations, for people, for SMEs, but with a major focus on illustration and animation, particularly 2D animation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, yeah. No, it's back. Like I've just seen it. It's because that's but that's audio, so it's working. Just continue. We're good. Continue. Yeah, yeah. Sirnare is a team. I believe heavily in collaboration and sharing work because it's very hard to actually deliver a good product alone. So the more involved people, the better, and even the outcome usually comes out nicely if you have many other people involved. Yeah. So Sirnare is a team. Yeah.
Mic audio. I hope they can hear me now. There is no sound. How about now? Now? Sound? Sound check. One. Comments, please. Because we're relying on these comments to know if there's sound. But I also realize there's like a maybe 10 seconds lag or something.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I should also check out the actual stream, like on the website, to see if it's working.
So they're saying it's okay.
Oh, it's good now.
Yeah.
Woo! Success. Awesome, man. So did they hear?
You can just start from the top.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So what are they seeing now? Now it's the screen share. Okay. So yeah, you've seen Shani. Shani's over there, and now you're going to screen share and show us the Masai Masi Masi image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think before we share the Masai image, you can take them through what to expect in the
the webinar. Okay. Cool.
Webinar.
Hangout. Let's call it a webinar. Sounds like serious and official. This one is a joke.
Huh?
This one's not as serious and
web
official.
hangouts.
Yeah, Hangout. Cool. Okay, so today we'll be talking about like the mindset of an artist. Like we're just trying to understand. Okay, this amazing work that you do, like how do you come across, or how do you come up with those ideas and draw like you do? You know, like how does one get to, how does one find inspiration? You know, where do you get your ideas from? I think that's usually like an interesting thing to talk about. So maybe you can give us some insight later as we go through your video. And then there's also things like the perfectionism trap that most artists go on. So we'll just assume that everyone who's watching this is an artist or animator, and then we'll just be talking to artists.
But those guys who can't draw, man, we still like to support. You can ask questions and don't feel left out, man.
Yeah, you can do it.
The primary focus is artists.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then there is what else? Self-criticism. Like I think is that like imposter syndrome, I guess. Like when you feel
part of it.
Yeah, actually there was. Yeah, in fact, David Alex, who I see is also on the chat, was having a hangout session. Was it on Saturday afternoon, focusing on the imposter syndrome, and I actually got to learn a lot from that. So maybe I can get to hear what you think about it. It's good, and we share about that. And then things like mental health, you know, these quarantine things. How do you not go crazy, especially if you're an artist in Kenya? Because there's so many things to think about. Could be I don't know, finding work. Maybe we can give some insight into that. You know, how to run a business as an artist, and the rest of it we'll just freestyle as we go, to be honest, and hang out, just have fun. Yeah, so I think one last check.
Should get a popcorn, water, nini.
Yeah, popcorns, nini, sanitizer. I don't know, like things that you need to. Yeah, cool. So now, last check. Audio, how is it? Can you hear me? Can you hear Shani from the comments before we? It's good.
To continue.
It's good. Okay, cool. Yeah. So then we will stream the video. So
great. So do you want us to show the image first?
Yeah.
Stream the video, or how do you?
Yes. Okay. Please screen share.
I can share it and then explain what is there.
Yeah.
Wait.
Cool. The screen sharing, awesome. So now, how do I make this window full screen? Wow. Cool.
So at that point in time, where there we go.
screen 2. Viewing options side by side. Okay, so it's working now. Cool. Actually, I think I'll share, because the screen that's being like captured is not 1080, so the feed might look squashed. Let me just change the monitor.
But the nini is actually, I'm seeing on YouTube, the one side is showing
it's working properly.
Yeah, it's working properly.
So
guys, because it took us a while to actually get this working, so this thing is not a joke, man.
Yeah.
We're happy to see that it's actually working.
You know, I realized there's a difference. The other one, we were testing a meeting. This is a webinar. So I think the other one, we were testing using a meeting. So this is a webinar.
Okay, now I'm seeing
my OBS.
I'm seeing
OBS.
So you can just turn the mini back on, like
the what?
Go back to what was there before. Because right now on YouTube, I'm seeing your screen. Like I'm seeing OBS. I'm seeing.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh, it was sharing screen 2. All right. Yeah. So let me add screen 1. That is display capture, I guess. Yeah, display capture 1. We'll get this figured out, and then transition. Wow, just like magic. Amazing. Yeah, I think now it's good to go.
And that's the other thing about art. When you see a final image, you think that the guy just woke up and then drew everything from scratch and it worked out the first time. No, that's not how it works. Like, there's usually a couple of sketches, a couple of things you never share at all, and what usually shows the best of the best. So there's appreciate that there's like a process to creation, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think now we're good, yeah?
Yeah, no, it's good to go. It's showing the screen share perfectly. It's working. Awesome. Okay. So what are we looking at? This lady over here. What we're looking
at is a Maasai lady who lives in the future but still has her traditional garment wear. So this idea came to me. There's a place. I think I was in a hangout with friends, and then I was just sketching what's it called, portraits of them. So I got an idea where I remembered I don't know if you guys have read the Wolverine Origins. There's a part where he has this what's it called, this thing on his eyes. I think that was the first form of VR I ever saw as a kid. And I think that idea really stuck to my mind. So I was wondering how can I get that idea and make it more relatable to me as a Kenyan. So I was like, what if I have like a traditional Maasai lady wearing such a contraption on her eyes? Cool. So she still has the traditional garments, but then it's coupled with now technology.
Oh wow!
And I am a big fan of sci-fi stuff. I loved Black Panther. I think to the obsession kind of way. And then there's even a time where one of the concept artists had come to Kenya to, I think he was in Hollywood or something.
Oh,
so wow. Yeah, so there's an organization called DocuBox. They organized a seminar with him.
Wow.
So he was taking us through like his thought process, how it is to actually work on such a feature. And wow, like it was really, really eye-opening in terms of, first of all, the amount of work it takes to actually come up with a concept, because he said it can take up to...
So we dropped your audio there for a second. Oops. Sorry guys, I think Shani's internet maybe has a problem.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I don't know what happened there.
KPLC wamecheza kama hao.
Usiseme hivyo babe. Because I maybe next
mobile data. But we shall continue. I think I have bundles.
Thank
And
goodness.
hopefully they shall come back.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think this one, the bundles I have will be sufficient.
Yeah,
Not,
man.
tutaona pale tutafika.
Thanks. Yeah.
Everything is okay on your side, right?
For now, I hope so. I hope, because now if lights disappear on my side, this is over.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay.
So, what's the last time you remember hearing? What is the last thing you remember hearing? Can pick up from them.
You're talking about the guy from who worked on the Wakanda film and the DocuBox guys.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, he just showed us like the process to the details of how like the actual software is used and the stages of actually producing one. So I think it was a very good in-depth look on how things are done. And what I could pick up from there was things really move really fast there. Like you have to be on your toes at all times.
Yeah.
But in terms of software and in terms of like the methodology, I think we are not so far off. Like it's just, yeah, we're not really that far off, to be honest. So anyway, it sparked that an interest to now do more sci-fi concept art, and I think this is one of the things I did to satisfy that.
Wow. Yeah, and it came out really well.
And then there's also another reason why I did this was I'm doing a course on character design. So part of the activities for that week was to do a lot of facial studies. So for this one of my goals and aims was to capture reflections of the skin, because I mean, when you do 3D, when you're trying to create like a 3D face,
yeah,
the level of reflection you have to give the face so that it looks human instead of plastic.
Yeah.
So part of the studies of what I was trying to achieve was how does skin reflect light. And that's electricity coming back on, but I think we should just continue with this. So yeah, and I feel I kind of got it. There's still room for improvement, but I was happy with the results, to be honest.
Nice. Yeah, this piece actually also caught my eye on Instagram. I think that's where you posted it first on Instagram. Yeah. It's also one of my favorites. So so like, okay, what's your process like? So okay, you have told us you do like research, you find out like you have your motivation, what you want to do. But before we get to the process, you said you're doing character design classes. Where are these classes?
It's an online class for me. It's called Schoolism.
Schoolism.com. Oh, okay. Cool.
So it's an online class for digital art. So, and it's geared towards film production. So it has very, very different aspects of it. Like there is one for drawing backgrounds, there's one for painting with light, there's one for digital art itself as a course, and then now there's this one for character design.
Oh.
So what I usually do is, for whatever project I work on, in as much as I'm working on it and I have this skill and knowledge that I've accumulated over these years, I still make a mental note on where I'm struggling, like the black spot I have, so to speak.
Okay.
And then now I look for ways to improve that.
Cool. Wow. Like,
so a good way that I realized to do that is you can just write down, even if it's like small notes, and say exactly what you think is the problem, and then now eventually you'll come up with the umbrella topic. Like for example, if you realize you're not really good at anatomy, you're not really good at drawing people's faces,
yeah,
you realize that whole thing is called character design. If you can get good in character design, then you can do what to address that situation.
Wow. That's a really good point over there. So like, because I know a lot of people struggle with, especially if it's when it comes to drawing, hands. people try to cheat. How to? I don't know. Everyone is always pocketing, or I don't know, hands behind their backs, and also feet. But now so that would be a problem with. Is it anatomy?
Yeah, it's anatomy.
Yeah, so yeah, then we can recommend people to check out Schoolism. Is it free or is
Yeah,
it
it's
paid?
really good. No, it's paid, but what I could advise is, as always, try test something first before committing to it. So the owner of Schoolism is called Bobby Chiu.
Mm-hmm.
He has a YouTube page called, I think, Schoolism. So he has many webinars and stuff on
Yeah.
there. So you can actually just listen to one webinar, see if it actually inspires you, and then now you can try the course. But I highly recommend it.
Mm.
And then the other thing is what it costs around. Okay, it costs around 3 Gs, 3,000 Kenya shillings for per month.
Okay.
So even when I'm planning when I'm budgeting for expenses for the company, that's something I usually
Factor
budget
in.
for.
Okay.
And then I don't want to go into details, but when you're charging your clients, you should also include such costs like equipment, software, courses, training, and all that.
Yeah. Okay, so it's something that you budget for.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, I was trying to see if I can actually like window capture the Schoolism thing, so that whatever like website references we're giving,
Yeah.
at least we can maybe show if possible. Let me see if it's possible. Yeah, it is. It is awesome, and this thing
Yeah.
is dope.
So that's
Yes.
the site.
So that's Schoolism.
Yeah.
Schoolism.com
But it's really good.
courses.
Like it's like a compressed art school. Like yeah, that's it. Compressed art school.
Compressed.
And then you mentioned, it's funny that you mentioned that story for hands and feet. Funny enough, there's actually one of the lessons he talks, because he breaks it down into the elements. Like there's a session for just drawing skulls and faces. There's a session for drawing hands. There's a session for drawing feet. And he explains the challenges one might have, and some of them are those ones for you draw, either you just put the hand behind your character, or you just don't show the hands at all.
Is that the fundamentals of character design with Steven Silver?
Yes, and Steven Silver is, I think pretty much everybody has seen his work. One notable work is he did the character designs for Kim Possible.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's really good. Anyway, back to this, because that's also another tangent that can
it can spiral to so many. Yeah, so I think we go back to screen share. Yep. Okay, cool. Copy. Just let me know if the stream is back.
Yeah, right now it's still oh yeah, we're good. It's back.
It's back.
Okay, get out of YouTube because you can see a key. Should probably not be on YouTube on that screen right now.
Yeah, I know. So so that means I need to be on screen share. Wow, that's amazing. Look at that. Yeah, it's sharing your screen, so I think we're good to go for now.
Okay.
And I can go to YouTube.
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
Sorry guys, challenges.
Yeah.
Okay, so play.
So this is Procreate. I love this app. It's a very intuitive app. So yeah, it's replaying now.
Awesome.
So at first, I can just go back and then explain what's happening. So the first part of it is to sketch.
Okay.
the character.
Yeah.
I have a reference on what's it called on Pinterest. So I can actually show that first before we go into the time lapse.
Yeah.
Maybe that will
Sure.
shed some light on that.
Sure.
So that should be. Yeah. So right now it's showing. So on the side is the image I had on Pinterest, and then on this other side, it's like a screenshot of actually the process. I was actually sketching out the character.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was trying to do was try to capture the likeness of the character, but also caricaturize it a little bit so that it's not exactly the same. And then figure out how to now make it my own, like still like an artist where you actually customize it to your own idea. The first question was that the specs had like an X on them, but I changed it. So that's how we got now the new iteration. I had now this different eye design thing going on.
It's really cool. Yeah. So
so I use just a lot to gather resources and inspirations, and also just to, it's like you're curating your taste.
It's like a mood board.
A
mood board.
It's a mood board. Yeah, it's like a mood board. So at any point when you want to start a project, whether personal or now the other not professional, at the professional work, you have like a jumping board of sorts.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps you not have creative block. Yeah.
So now I have a question. Based on what you've said and on about like gathering resources and inspiration, how much can you of like a inspiration folder, how much can you borrow from, and also like at what point do you think that it would be classified as plagiarism? Like where's the borderline?
That's a very good question. I'm still figuring out an answer to that.
Yeah,
but from my own research and the stuff I've read and seen online is that if you try as much as possible to not be exactly as the source image, and then if you now change the concept and the perspective of what is presented, then that doesn't really translate to plagiarism.
Okay.
So yeah, as in try to, when you get an image, let's say for example this image, some of the things that I changed was I gave her these sci-fi things.
Okay.
And then I also changed the clothes as well. So I changed the patterns for the clothes as well. And then when I posted the image, I also gave a shout out to the person who did the image. So that's another thing, that you always need to credit your sources.
Okay.
So that at least even if like somebody says you stole my idea, you're like, yeah, I did, but like you're also benefiting from all this. And if it gets to that point whereby now somebody says that you need to take it down, I think it's a good idea to just actually do that. Like it's never that serious, because you're not your work, and one piece of work cannot mean that you've ceased to become an artist. You can always create something else and learn from that experience, and then move forward. Yeah.
Wisdom. I like that, how you've put it. Yeah, because I know, and then maybe while we're still on this subject on plagiarism, so especially for beginner artists, guys who are maybe starting out, why do you think like people would want to plagiarize work?
I think it's because of how you translate inspiration. Because when you're a beginner artist, what you do is you see something really interesting and then you get inspired. You get this surge of wanting to recreate what you've just seen. So your brain just goes like, just draw exactly what you've seen.
Yeah.
and that is okay. I mean, it's expected because that's how you also learn
To start, yeah.
to think how to like get inside the mind of the person who's doing that.
Following the
But
footsteps closely.
huh?
That's like
Okay.
following the footsteps closely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you need to remember, you also need to take it a step further. And now, what's it called? Like internalize what you've just learned and then use it to create something new out of what you've just learned.
Yeah.
So I can give a perfect example of this lady. If I was now to take it a step further, I would now recreate my own character, like my own character from my head.
Yeah.
It's never from my head really, but my own version of this, but have like a different person.
Okay.
So I'll take all the learnings, because one of the things that I got to understand is how to draw beads and how they actually are, because I've always been fascinated by it, and how to actually render them out. So by referencing and trying to replicate something, you eventually figure out like a process or format on how to actually produce that faster.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, like, personally, I like refining my processes. Like if I do something this way today, I want to do it the same way next time. I'll try and make it even more effective by skipping some of the steps. Like if you drew something like this, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, keep going.
So it's always a challenge to now refine your process even more. And one of the things that inspires me to draw every day is if I can be able to express emotion, or if I can be able to express an idea in the least amount of strokes possible, and somebody can get like a huge amount of revelations from that particular image, then I am actually moving forward.
Yeah, efficient.
So that always gives me excited. Yeah, that always gives me excited to summarize my images, like break it down to the bare minimums.
Yeah. It's good, and for speed and also efficiency, like, and also your work will basically always have a certain sort of professional look to it because you've made sure everything is cool. So right now I noticed we've gotten to the part that I really enjoyed the most, the pattern on this Masai character, the shoal, man, like attention to detail. That was amazing. I actually thought it was an image that, maybe you can pause it. I thought it was an image that you manipulated in like Photoshop or something, but to see you actually drawing everything on it, that's just amazing. So how do you go about this? Maybe you can play the video.
I think I had this a while back, because before I got into computers, I used to draw everything by hand. Like if I'm doing a poster, I'd actually construct the fonts and draw them. So I got into the knack of recreating everything from scratch.
Okay.
So when I even now got into computers and Photoshop and stuff, it was more like I used it as it's like a augmented hand. Like your hand is just better now. You don't really have to draw the text anymore. You can actually just type the text out. So the same way now with this, like my approach to the fabric, I laid down like a grid, and then that now allowed me to place the dots.
Okay.
So it looks, and then if you do it even more carefully, you can even now have it like wrap around the folds and stuff. But I was like, I had to stop myself and go like, you have to make it a little bit human, so that it doesn't look too perfect. So
error, yeah.
You can even notice some dots are larger, some are smaller.
Pen pressure,
so
yeah.
You always leave it. Yeah, you always leave yourself a little bit of room to make mistakes, because at times what you think is a mistake, people won't even notice it.
Yeah.
People will be like, "Ish, that was so cool," but in your head you're like, no, some things are not okay. So I think it goes for you. You keep refining things. Like you actually do something, finish it, and then if it doesn't look that great to you, you can always erase. but you've actually taken a step doing it. Instead of you thinking about it in your head and creating this piece in your head, but you're stuck halfway because you're like, how will I draw the cloth? How will I draw the pattern? Yeah.
Wow, that's really some helpful tips. I'll definitely apply that in my drawings, like moving forward, because like this is dope. And I also think that I appreciate those kinds of details, like those small intentional mistakes, like the sizes of these dots, even like how you did the shadow for the fold of the cloth. That was like, wow. I don't know, for me this is because I understand, like I feel like I'm a bit lazy when it comes to drawing. I'd probably just make one line and then copy paste it several times and then use like a mesh deform and wrap it around the cloth.
But something I can add is that this project took nearly a week to do, on and off. Like it's not, I didn't do it in one sitting.
Oh, okay.
So
a week. You said a week.
At any point, huh?
You said a week. It took you a week.
Yeah, a week.
Oh.
Yeah, so like maybe one day I do 30 minutes, the other day I do 10 minutes, the other day I just look at it and then figure out what I need to add. So it's always a good idea to, when you feel tired or when you feel starting to make mistakes, you just take a break and then look at your, like zoom out and look at what you're trying to achieve. And then if it even helps, like just completely shut down the computer, go walk outside, have a conversation with someone, and then when you get back, you have fresh eyes. But if you just draw something from start to finish, you'll have tunnel vision, and you'll feel like there's something wrong with the drawing, but you can't really tell what. It's because you're too tired, too invested in it.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's really cool. Yeah. So is the video still playing or it's on?
Yeah, it's still playing. It's just
you're doing details.
It's really detailed, yeah. Because I'm even trying to like zoom into the parts where I was drawing.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh yeah, those intricate parts. Like even look at the beadwork on that earpiece. Yeah. You must have really.
So the same thing, like you do what I'd advise now when you're doing intricate stuff like that. You do the large parts first, and then now you slowly start adding detail to the small parts. It will make a lot of sense, and then you figure out a formula. So, for example, I can just rewind back and show like one of the processes of the beads. Like in the initial sketch, I had traced out the path of how the beads are going to be.
Okay.
And then now, when I did the second pass on it with color, I drew the lines to actually get me on how the sizes of the beads are going to be. Yeah. Where I've actually posed that place right now. And then now I added like the lines to indicate how the beads are
individual beads, yeah.
Yeah. And then you see I'm still like the initial step before that, I shaded the general form of it.
Oh, that's cylindrical. So, yeah.
The form of how it's going to be. So when I draw the lines on top, it feels like I've shaded all the bits, but basically what I've just done is I've not done that.
Okay. Wow.
And then there's also a part where I don't know if you can really see it, but after I've done the lines, I've also erased like some parts of it to indicate where the highlight is going to be. So that kind of answered that question for, yes, you've seen the dark side, you've seen the light side, but how are we going to see where the highlight is going to be? So if you erase the outlines, you are able to achieve that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
so that's how but I had to, like, there's a point in time where I think this place where I'm actually explaining is how I understood the formula for doing beads. Like once I did one of them, I actually made a mental note and said, I know this may take an hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes, 10 minutes, but let me actually figure this out. And once you figure it out and you convince yourself that this is the way to do it, you just now continue. Like you'll do it for the rest of them.
Yeah. And then is there a point where it reaches and you just become tired, especially if you're doing this kind of details, or this is where you put like lo-fi music and just?
What I usually do, um, I usually stop at that point in time and then work on something else. I can stop working on the beats and then work on the face, or I can stop working on the beats and then work on another element. Like later on, you will see like I'll switch from doing the beats and I'll start working on the Google. Let me call them Googles. Start working on
Googles.
the Googles.
The gagas. All right.
The gagas, yeah. You can't use Kiswahili, you have to use English.
We don't. Okay, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can say it in like an English
So you can
accent.
actually right now, as you can see, I've stopped working on the beats. I'm working on the headset. Let's call it headset. Yes, headset it is.
No, it's the gaga. I think that sounds English.
It's okay. It's okay. Shut up. It's fine. And then I can point out that the inspiration for these makeup parts were from the game Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah. Yep.
They they created this way of fusing what's it called? Fusing mechanical
With organics.
art, mechanical things, mechatronics, yes, with nature. Because the game is set upon like the world has actually come to an end.
Yeah.
And then it's resetting, but we still have old technology from back then. That's actually now the animals and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd also like to point out that another source of inspiration for me is games. I game a lot, I think.
Where do you find the time? Where do you find the time? Because I think this is also something we're going to talk about, but I don't know, maybe this would be the best cue for that. Like, how do you balance client work? Because even on the comment, the guys were talking about when you have maybe client work and there's a lot of pressure, how do you balance? Yeah, how do you balance these things? And then you are saying that you find time to game. Yet you still do this amazing work. So like, how do you balance the things?
It's really easy. Remember when I was saying when you feel like you're tired and you cannot continue drawing those details, or you realize that you're actually making mistakes. You take a break, and then, like for example, one of the rules I gave myself was I don't work on weekends. Like I don't work on Saturday and Sundays. So that's the time whereby I can meet up with friends. I can now I can find time to game. I can now watch Netflix. Like that's now your recovery time.
Okay. So
because personally I don't believe in overworking yourself, and I can also say that I've never burnt the midnight oil. Like that thing for you work till morning and then you have worked 48 hours. I don't think it's very effective for me.
Okay.
Because at some point in time you start making mistakes, and those mistakes is the next day, or if you look at what you've been doing, you realize that you might have done like a 3-hour block that could have taken you 10 minutes. But it's because you're so tired, you're pushing yourself to the limit. So that's why you need to be very, very aware of
your
how
limits.
your mental state is. So anyway, back to another game. So I have Saturday, I have Sunday. That's good enough time to game. But then again, as usual, too much of everything is poisonous. So again, when you're gaming and then you feel like you're also dying all the time, keep refreshing, then it's time to take a break. You don't have to
keep dying all the time. It's a sign. It's a sign. Okay. Yeah, because then I think the challenge with that is there's the most of us we're trying to catch up with life, socializing with people, hanging out, even taking a walk or visiting a museum or whatever, and then there's also the part for surviving and earning a living, paying bills. So now you're saying take a rest, but then there's a deadline for tomorrow morning, but I'm tired. So would I still burn the midnight oil or play a game?
So that the point for now, collaboration now comes into play there. So if, let's say, that same project, you have 3 guys working on it, you can actually do it in shifts. So you can do your part, take a break, the other person takes over, does their part, like that. So in a way, you're working 3 times faster, but you're also not
burning out.
So something to also consider. I know it's very hard to wrap someone's head around, but if you take small steps, let's say, for example, you have a job that is worth 100,000 shillings, right? And you have told the client that it's going to take you 2 days to do it. If you decide to do it alone, you might actually be able to finish the job and get the whole 100,000 shillings, but you need to recover from that job, because most likely you have crunched a couple of hours to actually deliver that on time, right?
Yeah.
So for that time that you need to recover, you might say you need another extra day, and then you do another crunch time for like another 2 days, and then take another extra day. But the problem with that is clients don't really care about that. They are like, if they get a brief, they tell you, hey, we need you to do this today, or we need this in 2 weeks. So are you available for this? If you're not available, they go to the next person. So what if now you had a team, or you had a group of people, or a group of friends that actually trust, where if such a job comes in, you split it eventually, and split it evenly, and then you also give time for breaks. Like I believe if you work from Monday, let's say you do 8 hours, like you get to the office, whatever, your home office at 8, and then you work till maybe around 6. And then at that time you take your break and go home and switch off completely from whatever you're working. And then you come back the next day. I think you'll be very, very productive, and you will, that money that you're actually thinking that you might not make, you will make it, because you have very fresh ideas and you're very fresh.
Yeah.
But it's also a tricky situation, because artists are a very speculative bunch. We don't trust easily. So it's up to you to figure out a way of testing people. Like you can now do small steps to involve other people in your work. So for example, if let's say, you can even talk about the background that you have behind you. So Shadrach is doing an animation, and then he knows he needs to do background, he knows he needs to do character design, he needs to do the animation itself, he needs to do storyboard, he needs to do scripting. Since he's the person who is coming up with the idea, it is very easy for you to actually say that you'll do everything by yourself. Like it's like that's what your brain initially
Thinks. Yep.
But the problem with that is you never put room for contingencies. Like for example, steamer can just decide, electricity can just decide to go, as you have just seen.
Yeah.
You might get sick. Somebody as you may need to address something in your family. Like there's so many things that can actually go wrong.
Yeah.
So the best way to actually go around it is, one, break down the task into small, sizable, biteable tasks, and then now schedule them. When you schedule them, you can then consider if, let's say, the project might not take the 2 days that you actually talk to the client with, it might actually take 2 weeks. Please communicate with the client and tell them this is the reason why it's going to take 2 weeks. And if they say that they need it to be done in a shorter time, what you could do is you can say that's okay, that's fine. But now we need to also increase the workforce, so the price might actually go up. So the value stays the same, but the price is actually going to go up because the production is going to cost a little bit more.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work out, then it's a good idea to now consider letting go of that client.
And they
Yeah, but you cannot. The other thing that you need to also appreciate is that you cannot quit at that particular point in time. Since you've already committed to the job, you'll just have to struggle, finish that job, but then make a mental note that for this client, we might not be able to work with them unless they actually appreciate the fact that if they need work done in a short amount of time, we need to increase more people.
Yeah.
Makes sense? Yeah. So that's how I usually go around my project. It's not I'm still yet to figure out fully, but the number of times that I've actually taken the risk and actually involved people, it has had very huge payoffs.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of insightful comments over there. You've talked on like that balance, how to handle client work, how like process, also time management. It's very insightful, man. And how do you think you're faring in this endeavor? Because for some of us, it's a challenge, especially things like collaboration. That's a challenge for most of us, myself included. By the way, it's hard to collaborate with people. What do you think might be the challenge we face when trying to find someone to collaborate with?
I think one of the things that I have noticed on my end as I work with my guys is that at times it's very easy for someone to what's it called? For someone to assume things, or you say that since Shadrach does 2D animation, there's some things I can't tell him. I mean, he's a professional; he must know these things.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's always best to actually state exactly what your expectations are going to be.
Yeah.
Like, to the literal sense of saying, I want this in a PNG format, and I want this at this size, I want this in this DPI. Like, you make sure that all the needs are covered, so that when the person is working on whatever task you've given them, they have something to look at and what's it called, to reference. And then the other thing is people can get distracted. For example, if let's say right now as you're talking, somebody, a client calls me and then tells, like, I really need to, what's it called? I need to respond to them.
Yeah.
My brain may not be working at 100%. I'll be split.
You're
So
focusing
the same
on
thing
them.
can happen. Yeah, the same thing can actually happen with the person you're working with.
Yeah.
They might be very distracted at what they're doing. They might have 3-4 projects that are juggling at the same point.
Yeah.
At the same time. But if they have like a list, or they have a very detailed breakdown of what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it, it's much easier for them to actually give you the work that you're looking for, like to the actual level that you actually want it to be.
Yeah.
So even you can also give them references in terms of what you're thinking about, and then have a very well thought out discussion with them on why you're actually doing the things the way you want to do them. Because if you can also sell the idea and sell the dream, it's much easier for them to understand why are you insisting on all these details, like what's the problem with you. Also, they can also add in ideas, and this dream that you have can actually be more
better
and be amplified. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's actually something I'm beginning to understand slowly. That you need to be like specific. You're like down to the smallest details, up to like even folder structure and file types. Wow. Yeah, but it really helps. What you've said makes a lot of sense, and I'll try to apply that more, and also be a bit more trusting with people.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's life is like that. The more you internalize things, the more you might not really move forward, because you will create a very perfect way of doing things on your way.
Yeah.
But now, when let's say you get a big project, let's say for example somebody wants you to do like a feature film, you know what you tell them? You tell them that this thing will take me 20 years to do, because you are thinking as Sir-Nare.
Yeah.
As Sir-Nare Kelvin Shani. But when you think of it as a group or as a community, it's much easier to actually see it happening, because all you have done is you've broken down the process to small bits where people can actually do them. And then the other thing to note is, as you're giving out this task, you have to be considerate of which level someone is at, and be very clear in such a way that it doesn't seem too harsh, but understand that if this is the skill level someone is at, give them jobs or give them tasks that actually they can do to that level. And as usual, challenge them that you can actually get more work if you actually get to this level. So you can do small tests on the side, not on the main project, whereby you're trying to train them and you're trying to uplift that level, their skill level.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow. Dude, it's been actually an hour. Do you think
Yeah.
we should like ask questions or keep talking more about these things? Like, uh, I had a question. For example, when you're working on this piece, did
Yeah.
you come across like mistakes like later, maybe once you've posted the artwork? Did you notice any
Yeah.
mistakes? How do you handle um, mistakes? Maybe artist block when you're trying to draw and things are just not working out. How do you handle that?
Yes, I saw so many mistakes. I can even point out one of them.
Okay.
The headset is kind of not really proportional, like it's not straight.
Yep.
So like the right side is a bit bigger than the left
Left.
side,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then the face is kind of skewed towards the right.
Yep.
Yeah. So I could have easily focused on this and actually not posted the image. And what would have happened is I would have all these paintings and things that I've never really posted
Yeah.
on my studio, but never really put them out there. But the more you post, the more you share your work, the more you also validate yourself, because artists love validation. Like we love all those likes, we love all those comments, we like all those critiques.
Yeah.
Because it shows that whatever things that you're studying, whatever things that you're finding fascinating are actually normal. Like it's normal, it's okay to be this detail oriented, and it's actually paying off. Like people are actually seeing these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So you need to be a little bit gentle on yourself in terms of now posting your stuff. Like, I mean, everybody started somewhere,
Yeah.
and the more you can accept that, the more you'll actually move forward. But if
Okay.
you expect all your work to be perfect, then you're going to get stuck. You need to overcome that hurdle,
Ah.
because
Yes.
there's a lot of green space outside here. Guys, let's get to this point, and then even get to another point about this as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So
always keep improving.
the
And then on terms of now criticism, that's a very interesting point you mentioned.
yeah.
Um, it's a it's an interesting thing. So I usually have a lot of self-critique, whereby and it's normal because you're an artist. You're always looking at what you've just drawn,
Yeah.
and you're referencing what you know, like your skill level, and what you can actually do, because you have this idea of this is the kind of stuff that I can do, and then there's the reality of what you can actually do for real.
Yeah. It's a
So it's
difference.
always like a tug of war between that. Um, so what I usually do is if I find myself overthinking about something, let's say for example, I've done the headset and then I'm like, I don't really like how it's queuing and stuff. I can try methods of balancing out. For example, you can flip the image.
Yeah.
So when you flip the image, it kind of shows you a different perspective of what you've done,
Yeah.
and you can be able to adjust on the fly.
Yeah.
But then there's only so much you can do to fix something. So if it gets to a point whereby you feel like you're okay with the drawing, you can actually proceed to share it. You can share it and then ask for critique.
Yeah.
And then in a given critique, remember there's always two kinds of critique. There's the one for people who genuinely want to give you good feedback and they want
help
you
you to improve.
And then there's that other critique for it is not really based on improvement, it's just bad critique. Let me just call it bad critique.
Well
So
put.
you need to have the discernment of knowing what is good and bad critique,
Okay. So
and then having a thick skin on like how like you shouldn't be phased by bad critique. Like the fact that somebody is actually taking time, like they have taken their keyboard and they have typed things to you. They
yeah.
have said this thing is bad and they've done all that.
Yeah.
That's actually good feedback. It means that you have actually created a conversation. Like your work is good enough for somebody to actually go the extra step to talk about your work. So that's still good feedback, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's good info over there on self-criticism. Because sometimes you might be very hard on yourself, but it's good to realize that. I like that point you said, when somebody takes their time to type something. I mean, it shows that it also resonates with people. So you shouldn't be so hard on yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then another point to note is that art is a gift. Like in terms of it's a talent. Yes, it's a gift from God, universe, higher deity to you, and it's also a gift to the people you share your work with. Like in a sense of like whatever you draw, whatever you create, it's meant to be shared to other people, and it's meant to initiate these conversations and strike these emotions and give this perspective.
Yeah.
So the more you don't actually do that, you're denying yourself and you're denying others that gift.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And what about those of us who are like I don't know, perfectionist and they want that perfect illustration or you know. I think you should mute your notifications. Should mute your notifications. Don't get distracted.
I thought I'd actually muted it, but apparently it's not.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, I was driving at the perfectionism trap. Like for those who are struggling with perfectionism and wanting to have like the best artwork out there, what advice would you give them?
One, I'd actually commend them on actually having very high standards of themselves. I mean, that means that you have very good taste. But you also need to acknowledge the fact that it's going to it's a journey to get there. Like you don't wake up one morning and actually have very good drawings. Even the people that they say they have inborn talent, it's not like it's easy for them to draw. It's just that they don't show how much it takes to get to that point. Like we are not sharing. Like for example, every morning I feel like an A4 page with hands, or I feel an A4 page with heads. But I never share that. Like that's my own practice session and stuff.
Yeah.
Or like so there's that whole backlog of the 10,000 hours thing, whereby you actually take time off to learn a new skill and you go through all the punches, or you roll through the punches until you get to a point where you actually start seeing growth.
So
and you also need to be
Are you saying that we don't need to spend an actual 10,000 hours?
No. Hey, it's actually more than 10,000 hours. The 10,000 hours is just a phrase that kind of gives you that perspective that it's going to take a lot of time to get good. But funny thing is, I don't think there's anybody who has actually recorded themselves. If you have, I'm not good for you. You're a good statistical guy. But when you start, I think, let's say you're starting, you're learning to play the piano. And the first time you try doing it, you're going to be shit at it, even if you have a skill at that, because it's going to be hard,
unbearable. Yeah.
But the next time you actually come back and do it, you'll have like somewhat of an experience level to it. And if you've gotten training, which now that's the other part where you also need to do, like you get training on how to do something. So once you get the training, then you try what you've just learned.
Yeah.
So that way, you're using that information, that experience you had. 10 has gone black.
No, I don't know what. Oh, okay, I think it should be back now.
Yeah. So you're using that information that you've gathered from the past experience of the first time you played the piano, and then you have now this experts' experience where they have condensed their 10 years and stuff to like an hour's lecture.
Yeah.
So you use that information and then now try it again. So you see, you're more equipped to actually gain mileage. But most people, what they do is you rely too much on this innate talent you have and struggle to get to that fine detail or fine thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, it does to me.
But yeah, if you need more elaboration on that, you can always write on the comment. We can always explain it better.
Yeah, actually, you should take this moment maybe to shout out to people at the comment section. I'm thinking, I don't know who Optimus Prime is. Very active. Hi, Optimus Prime. There's Zhao. I don't know if that's Mike. Hi, Mike. There's Da, GK Gadoni, Brian. Yeah, so actually a lot of people that I know and also
Yeah.
new guys. So thanks guys for hanging out with us also. So maybe we'll be asking, opening the stream maybe for like questions. So I think I can take the questions either here on YouTube chat or the Facebook page. No, let's just do YouTube chat, I guess. Yeah. So I'd
So
request that if the questions can be like capitalized, just have your caps lock on, so it's easy to like track them amidst the other comments, and then I can just like relay them back to you. Because I feel like we've spoken for a while. Yeah.
I want to go back to now the stream.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So you stop sharing so that it's back to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. I think this works. So that does that mean I need to change my? No, it's still capturing the video, so it's okay. All right.
I think it should switch. Yeah, switch back to normal.
Optimal.
You need
No,
the
it's okay.
logo
It's okay
stuff.
now. It's okay now. Because it's full screen on my monitor. It's fine. Yeah. Well, today I've like learned a lot from you. It's awesome. Yeah. So I'm just going through the comments right now. Maybe just from the start. It was basically no sound, no sound. Hi guys, I can't hear you, no sound. Yeah, hey man, this live stream thing, it seems okay, but when you actually hit start stream, everything goes wrong. And then also Kenya Power. Uh, wait, no questions. Okay, well, no questions. Oh, there's Optimus Prime was asking about how do you have to put that much detail into clothing? Or do you have to put that much detail into
Sorry,
clothing?
I switched from mobile data to Wi-Fi. I think KPLC has come back to normal.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We have,
but you good to go? You good to go?
continue. Okay, good.
Yeah. So there was a question from one of the guys in the comments. He was asking, do you have to put that much detail into clothing? Like, do you really need to put that much detail?
I think it's very subjective to that thing I was talking about, your style and your style. Yes, your style.
Okay.
So I like detail. I like very detailed artwork. I think yeah, I'm just very observant. So if I can be able to replicate the details, then awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also on
It's
this.
very subjective.
Yeah, like also on the same. Like how does one develop a style? I think they're kind of related. Because I know you have like a preference with color, a certain color that you like in your work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does one develop?
The color he's talking about is orange and red. I have a high affinity towards those colors.
Yeah.
I feel that your style is never really solid. Like it morphs. It should be able to morph to fit any brief. I don't know if that makes sense. But then the funny thing is, I usually say I don't have a style, but when I show my work to people, or when people give me feedback, they're like, "There's a particular style you have." But what's happened is, maybe today I might draw my lines like this, or maybe I might color my things like this. But if you look generally, there's a particular rules or ways of doing things that I actually follow through. So I think that's what you call your style. So you always be open to try new stuff, try new softwares, try new things. Because in my opinion, a software is a pencil. You cannot say that you cannot draw using a HB pencil, because you cannot do using a carpenter's pencil because you just use stapler. I mean,
Doesn't make sense.
It's not the whole. The point is not
The pencil.
The pencils.
Yeah.
Your skill, like how are you able to convey ideas, and how are you able to break down briefs. That is the most important part. But how, like the methodology and the tools you use, you should be able to shift them accordingly. Like it's an added advantage actually. Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's awesome. Yeah, there's a compliment. Sema hiyo leso imeweza. Well, yeah.
That's all.
It's dope.
Like I'm not wearing a lesson, man.
No, the character.
Thank you.
The character. That's from
on
Taras.
behalf of the person who did the batik print.
Yeah, Taras Studio. He's also a dope animator, by the way. I've seen his work, and he uses Blender, and I'm happy about it. So there's another question: how do you approach lighting for a character or a scene?
I use reference a lot. So let's say, for example, I watched a video on YouTube about, like, the other day. It's really strange, but I was watching some skits for Kansime, and a Ghanaian comedian. And then from there I was able to see, like, the lighting. I like the lighting for, like, how they actually did the lighting for the scenes. Like, it's not like Hollywood or anything, but they've actually been able to get everything in focus. Like, the faces are even lit.
Yeah.
So I'd use that to figure out, like, what's the main light, what's the bounce light, how they have actually set up the scene. So always use references to answer your questions. So like for example, how I'd do one is, like, now for the Maasai chick, I'd be like, what do I want to achieve? Okay, one, I want it to be very evenly lit. Like, I want it to be more like a sky sun setup. So I look for an image that has exactly that, and then I break it down to the details, like what is making this lighting. Okay, why am I attracted to this lighting? So if you get those particular points, then it's easy for you to actually put like a checklist on. Once you're done with the drawing, these are the things that you'll actually be looking against. Makes sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's also cool. Yeah, and then now after,
because the idea for creativity comes from nothing. I don't think I've gotten to that level. Maybe it's a level that was supposed to get to me. So I get that. I love references. I love like putting my work against something that actually exists. Because the other thing that you also need to consider it about is the audience, or the people actually looking at your work. They experience real world in 8K, 4K. I don't know what I see, but they experience the world in all this fidelity.
Yeah.
So they always judge your work against that.
Oh.
So if you're trying like realistic lighting, then it better look like how it's actually supposed to look like.
Yeah.
If not, then you can now go for a more abstract way of doing things. But you should be very clear at the onset on what direction you're going, so that it's not a crutch you're going. As in, when somebody tells you lighting is bad, you go like, no, I want it to be abstract. Like,
if it's bad, it's bad.
Very intentional. It should be a very intentional goal at the beginning of the project.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's really cool. Like, side point, probably not relevant. I was reading some science documentary saying that our eyes can see up to 1080p. So anything above that is basically wasted pixels. The eye doesn't register. I really don't know, but well, I don't have any data to to clarify, but it kind of makes sense. You just notice it's slightly enhanced, but yeah. Awesome.
And then I'm
Awesome.
seeing David Alex is saying that it's my style. Yeah, so that thing for saying that, that the reason why this work is not nice, it's because my style is like that. You're kind of putting yourself in the foot because you're saying that you're not that good. So I think it's now that maturity
My
for
style.
how to take critique. Like it's not a personal attack to you. Like it's people are just trying to
Help.
make you better. So it's how you internalize such critique, and it's not easy. Like I still feel bad when somebody tells me my art is bad. It's normal.
Yeah.
But it's now for you to get over that and grow, because the whole idea is for you to grow. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, personally, what I try to do when, especially I get comments or criticism that it might not be what I was expecting, like sometimes it hurts because maybe you spent a week working on I don't know, drawing fingers for whatever reason,
Yeah.
and then somebody says those don't look like fingers. Obviously, you're gonna feel something, right? But
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
how I try to like get over that is just try to understand what they think fingers should look like, or broad strokes, it's like maybe how or where did I go wrong? Is it the lighting? Is it the anatomy? Is it the lines? So that one
Yeah.
kind of helps you to understand the deeper problem instead of just surface level comments. So I usually ask a lot of questions, and then sometimes even by asking questions you might find that that person just didn't know what they were talking about sometimes, and then
Yeah.
for those ones you just let them go. You're like, I knew it. Yeah, but most of the time you actually learn something. I learned something. Yeah. Awesome. That was um oh Chris is asking, I noticed some of your illustration work has glows and flares. How do you do that? That's like a technical thing. Oh yeah, that orange orange flares.
You found me. You
Yeah,
figured me out.
tell us your secret. It's a secret. Let it out.
So I can actually do a demonstration.
Yeah, please go ahead, do it.
So I'm going to start broadcasting. I've just taken the Wacom pen trying to to use it on the iPad.
This video is sponsored by Wacom and Procreate. It's not sponsored.
Yeah.
It's not sponsored.
It's not sponsored.
Yeah.
But you don't mind sponsoring.
I mean, if they can give us tablets.
So I guess first of all, the thing you need to appreciate is the fact that glows don't happen out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
For you to see like a light and for you to see something glowing, it needs to be a bit darker. So can do like a bluish backgroundish, and then I use screen to actually blend that layer. So first of all, I'll paint the glow.
Okay.
So for Procreate, what I usually use is this name is for spray paint. It's a large brush that actually has very feathered edges. So it's really nice for doing glows and stuff.
Okay.
So just to put it in context, I can just do I can just do like that. So I'll make the size a little bit bigger because that is too small. And then you use the opacity so that you don't have like one solid thing. What doing tutorials is hard. So this the opacity to maybe 50%, and then you now slowly apply pressure as you draw. So what I'm doing a very circular motion.
Okay.
And then as you notice
that
in
looks
the middle, that's when it's actually
like it's
becoming more and more brighter. But what I'm also doing is I'm reducing the size of the brush. So at the epicenter of all that, it's now very, 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 very bright. But it's just that now that is where I've focused most of my pressure. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So the other thing now I do is I shift the hue a bit towards now the light. So if you're working with red, the red is now the, what's it called? Red will be the general large glow, and then the more becomes brighter, the more it shifts towards white. So if you look at the hue table, like red is a very deep color. The more you go to yellow, it will go to white.
Yeah.
I know it does not make a lot of sense, but yeah.
No, this stream is for artists. I think we get it.
Yeah. So now that I have my yellow, I can actually don't even have to go to yellow first, but it will be a shorter way. So you can just reduce the opacity again, make the size a bit bigger, and then apply very, very lightly on the image. So slowly by slowly, we are getting the epicenter more bright.
Bright, that show that it's really hot.
Yeah, I can also increase opacity.
Yeah.
And feather it out. Like it's a very tedious process, but it is rewarding at the end.
Yeah.
So now we have a very bright yellow in the middle, so you can even now go to white now. So if I'm doing like a flare, I can do a stroke to indicate, okay, that's too bright, so this opacity. And then as I'm doing this, I have a very, it's like my hand is very gingerly pressing on the screen. I'm not pressing too hard.
Gentle.
Very, very gentle, man. I'm a gentleman.
I saw that coming. It's okay.
Okay. Yeah. So same thing, like you work towards very, very light, and then you light. So after I've done that, I can change now the blending mode to screen. And that's how you have your glow.
Amazing glow. Custom glow.
Yeah. So I can play it back. Play back is so fast.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So let me ask, are you able to store that kind of thing as a brush so that you can always reuse it later, or you have to do that every time?
I think you could. That's a very nice way of fast tracking your process. But personally, I like doing. I don't know. I think I love the fact of customizing all my stuff. So since I know the process through and through, it's very fast for me to actually replicate it.
Yeah.
Because there are times you might get where maybe whatever you're giving that glow does not fit that size. But if you get the concept of it, it's very easy for you to replicate it. So always focus on the concept and the thinking behind it, and then you can now wield that word glows.
Okay. Cool. So before we go to another topic, while we're still on this like technical stuff, so like what's your take on reusing libraries and I don't know, brushes and I don't know, add-ons, plugins?
So it's good. It's a very good way of working. But the only challenge you get is, let's say, for example, I can give a personal example. So all along I've been using Photoshop to do my digital work. So when I got the iPad and I had to use Procreate, it doesn't work the same way Photoshop works. Like there are very different brushes. I had to figure out which brushes do I use to do inks, which brushes do I use to do flats. It even changed the way I actually paint. So in as much as yes, you have your own methodology and how you do things, it goes back to that story for what's the reasoning behind that methodology.
Yeah.
Because if you answer that, then it's very easy for you to shift like the tools. Like it will be a matter of you give yourself 2-3 days of understanding what the software capabilities are, and then now shifting to your way of working.
Yeah.
But if you get stuck and say, oh, I can only use Photoshop, or I can only use Acetic, or I can only use this particular thing, you're limiting yourself, because anything can happen there. I mean, that laptop can go, and you're stuck to drawing on mini paper. So you need to be always very flexible in terms of now.
So now, like, what's the best software?
The best software is your brain. The best software is your brain because it doesn't need updates, it doesn't need hardware changes. Like
No bug fixes.
yeah, as in you're not paying anything for it. So what you need to do is see softwares as tools. See softwares as very, very expensive pencils,
Yeah.
and then figure out how to problem solve using those fancy pencils of yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I use the same. I remember you told me this a while back that the software is just like a tool. So it depends on who's using the tool. So it's not the tool's problem. The person using the tool. Yeah, that's.
And unless you're, but then again, maybe you create softwares. So that's a very different.
Okay.
But we're not software engineers, so.
Yeah, man. Okay, cool. So now on to a different question. So Brian is asking, could you talk about how you price your work, client work, maybe? Yeah, pricing. How do you put value into your work?
I'm still.
Okay, do you have like a
I'm still figuring
guideline?
that out. So I can share what I currently use.
Cool.
That's a better way of doing it.
Cool.
So what I do is I look at my own personal budget. I make a budget for the month, and I say, so for me to exist, what do I need? If it's my house shopping, if it's fuel for the car, if it's my rent, my house rent, if it's now like my personal life, what do I need? And then the other thing that you also need to consider is what are your goals? Like in 5 years, what do you want to achieve? Do you want to buy a car? Do you want to buy another vehicle? So once you figure that out, you can be able to get like a rough idea of this is the amount of money I need in 5 years, or this is the amount of money I need to make in 10 years. And then now from that, you can break it down and to now, like this year, I'd like, not even I need, because I need is a very strong word. I would like to make this amount of money. And once you've broken down your year, you can break it down to months, you can then break it down to days, you can even break it down to hours.
Yeah.
And then since now, like I run a company, so I also have business expenses to run, like what's it called, softwares, hardware, office rent, internet, all those things. I still need now to figure that out. So that way you can now be able to come up with a daily rate or a weekly rate or hourly rate. And then you look at, if let's say this project of the Maasai lady took me a week to do alone, then this is how much I should charge, this is how much I think it's worth. Because the other thing that you also need to consider is art is very subjective. It can cost 20 shillings, it can cost 2 million shillings.
Yeah.
You explaining your reasoning behind it that will actually make the client see the value of it. But if you cannot be able to be verbal about that, that's where I think artists will have a big problem with clients and stuff, because you're saying this thing is worth 300,000 shillings, but the client's like, no, you've done it in 2 minutes.
Yeah. So it needs to be.
So you I think as in as much as yes, you're also learning to develop your skill. You also need to learn how to sell your skill as well. And I have struggled with that, to be honest. I've struggled with that a lot, and I'm slowly learning on how to do that.
Okay, but I don't know. I feel like you've made quite some headway in terms of like running a business, and I feel like it's successful. Like people know you out there, man. Your work is cool. Keep at it. So I'm thinking that maybe we could try find time and do one for like I don't know, pricing or creating value from artwork. Could be illustration or animation, because we don't have an industry per se, do we? Can you say there's an Are you primarily an animator or illustrator?
Now that question is hard because the other day I realized that the moment you identify yourself as a skilled person, you'll only be a skilled person. I don't know if that makes sense. Like if you say you're an illustrator, the client will see you as just an illustrator.
Okay.
So they'll give you only illustration jobs. But if you identify yourself as a creative who solves problems by maybe illustrating, then that also widens your range. Because now all of a sudden you can give them services for not just illustrating. You can also give them services for script writing, copywriting. Like it just broadens what you can actually be capable of. Yeah.
Everything.
So I don't think I can't say that I'm an illustrator. I am a creative.
Yeah,
I'm a creative thinker. That's what I am.
Actually, that's something I've never thought about it from that perspective, because now, you know, people will approach you based on what you put out there, right? So if you say I'm an illustrator, you'll just be getting illustration jobs. Yet maybe you prefer animation and animation maybe, and you're wondering why aren't this coming here. But now if you say you're creative, and also how you word it, if you say you work with computers, now you'll also get computer repair jobs and people fixing laptop screens. So you have to be careful how you know, market or put out what's it called, market yourself. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. I like that perspective. It's really cool.
So I'd also like to point out that we have 20 more minutes.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
120.
Yep, I'm looking at the clock over there. Right, pricing. So yeah, we'll probably do a pricing one, and value, creating value from services.
So guys can comment and say if you want that, because you might say you want to do it and then people don't watch. So if you want to have a review like that, it would be nice.
Yeah, or just say also other topics that we could probably cover. Because maybe that's what we want to talk about, like you said, but then maybe they just want to see how you add glows on different characters and stuff. Yeah, you never know. So another question here is, Brian, what's the highest amount you've charged for a project?
Well, I can share it, so it's always good. I think the highest I've ever, because charging and getting paid is different. I've got it for many things, but the biggest project I've ever worked on, I think it was around like 5M.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pause
but
for
then again, I
wait,
let's just pause. I did not do the whole project alone. It involves so many guys.
Yeah.
That's also part of the reason how I got the job, because I demonstrated to the client that this is not a solo project. There's actually people involved.
Okay. Yeah, let's just pause for effect for like a second. Yeah. So it's possible to go all out. And then should you be afraid to like quote? I like what you said. There's a difference between quoting and actual, getting paid. So I think after this we'll also head into how do you ensure that you get paid. Or should we move this, because we only have a few minutes left, should we move this to the other stream about payment, how to get paid, things like that?
Now I think we've talked a lot about pricing, so maybe we can open into other things. Or on the stuff that you're supposed to talk about, have we captured everything?
Actually, yeah, we have even a lot more than we had already planned. So maybe then we can try something else. Like if okay, pricing was difficult. Let's do something easy. Like, do you have a favorite artist? Is there someone that you look up to, like who inspires you? You look at their work and you're like, wow, that is dope.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, do you want to share? I can share it also on my side. Yeah.
Okay, so like the guy who I wish to be
when you grow up.
When I grow up, He's Mobius, Moebios.
Oh, I know that guy. Yeah.
Jean Gerard Mobius. He's a French illustrator.
Yeah.
But what I liked about his work, it was very,
Giroud.
in terms of the topics he discussed, or the themes around his work were very, very broad. And yeah, and also his detailing is just crazy.
Yeah.
It's
just trying to find
intense. And then
some images.
I think part of me wants to be a great comic artist. I'm slowly getting there. But yeah, I think that's my top of the head guy. In terms of 3D and character design, there's Pedro Conti. He has really, really cool characters, very, very expressive characters, and also his detailing is also really off the hinges. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also something I like about now, it's even good that you've actually shown just go back to the
Mobius one, yeah.
Yeah.
Which image specifically?
Oh, I'm looking at the live stream.
Live stream is like 10 seconds behind.
So something I liked about his work was at that particular, because this is like 80s, 70s, 90s kind of work. The printing was very limited in terms of what colors you could actually use.
So
but what I loved about it was he still did very, very good renderings.
Oh my God!
Even if there was still limited palettes. But they are very, very rich in terms of color, in terms of shading, in terms of depth. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like the image did. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and he has a great sense of lighting. Even though he's using a limited palette, you can tell like he really understands his lighting also, and also line work. Like he's dope. Wow, this is okay. I can see why.
If you get to now read, like he did his own version of Silver Surfer for Marvel, and it's out of this one. The way he now his storytelling is also really, really good. So yeah, I think that's why I look up to him. Like I hope to, even if the other thing about now getting inspired by people is that you don't necessarily have to be like them. You can just get inspired and appreciate their things. Because the other thing is you might get stuck in that loophole of trying to be like him, but you need to appreciate that you're also another variant. You're also another, like you're in CG and After Effects world, you're like a random
spec. Yeah. Spec
so whatever you output is going to be very different.
Yeah.
And if you limit yourself to what somebody has achieved, you're latching onto someone's dream, someone's journey, and forgetting your own journey.
Wow.
So get inspired, get insights from that, but never forget what you can actually be able to achieve.
Okay, cool. And what about this 3D guy?
So Pedro Conti, I like his characters have a lot of expression, and they are very well designed in my opinion. So.
Oh man, yeah. Okay, yeah. This is dope.
Yeah.
Oh
man. The chicken animation is so sick. Like I like the lighting. I like the expressions. Like
this is genius.
Yeah, it makes me happy.
It's really cool.
So yeah, as in don't limit yourself to this. And then the other thing that I always like doing is, if for example you see something like this and then you're like, oh, I like this, just make a mental note, even write down and say, this is why I like this particular image. So that when you're improving your own work, or when you want to make your work better, you just look at, let's say for example, you like the depth of field. Effect. So when you're looking for resources and you're looking for tutorials, you look for depth of field tutorials. So that way it's much easier to actually improve. Instead of going like, I want to do this image. That's a very actually break it down to the particular elements that make you happy. it's
Yeah.
easier to actually improve on that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. This is really dope. Amazing work.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was very insightful. I'll follow him. It's amazing. Cool. So, well, more question on pricing. Like, how do you fish your clients out there? I guess that's on portfolio.
So,
Okay.
I can answer that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um, so the funny thing is, I think I've pitched twice in my life. Like I've pitched for work twice in my life. What I focused on was improving my work. As in, if you have very good work and you've put it out there, people will actually look for it because they are looking for solutions to their problems. So if you fit the profile, naturally they'll come to you. And then one thing I realized was nobody is actually doing that. Everybody was doing like an animation video, putting it up and saying, I'm open for business. But you see, when you do that, people will have to go the extra mile of now appreciating, yes, you're actually an animator.
Yeah.
And then they'll have to now go into their lives and see where is the need for this particular thing. But if you stop focusing on now looking for clients and you focus on making your work good, people
They'll
will actually
come.
follow you and look for you. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
It
does.
has always worked for me. So, and it's also liberating that you don't have to dress nice, you don't have to kiss us to get jobs. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
it does.
Yeah,
Because they're coming to play in your field, so your
exactly.
rules, your house, your
You,
rules.
you even have a much better negotiating angle because they have approached you, not the other way around.
Cool.
So you also have to be very, very cognizant of that fact.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And then another way of looking at it is if you feel that yes, mazee skills zangu, my skills are at this top level, I need now to get work. You could do a project. You can say, let me do like a 5-second animation. Let me do a poster series that now showcases these skills that I've learned in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So when you do that, you're also updating your portfolio. Like you're also updating people on, hey guys, I have increased my skill and this is the output.
Yeah.
So that way people can still have this idea that you're a very fresh person, you always have these fresh ideas.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's really good and interesting perspective. I'm also learning a lot by the way. So we have like maybe 10 minutes, so maybe
Yes.
closing remarks. Like what's your future plans in artistic fields, in animation, creatively, creative wise, creative speaking?
I'd like to direct an animation.
Oh, like what kind
I'd
of
like to direct.
animation? Like sci-fi? What kind of animation?
I haven't gotten to that point of.
Okay. To be specifics.
The idea is just I'd like to direct an animation, so
Yeah.
I'm yet now to give it more depth and flesh
Okay.
it out. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, and then the funny thing is, the more when you set such goals, subconsciously your mind starts driving you towards such. Like even when you're checking out YouTube or when you're talking to people, you subconsciously start talking about that. So your brain starts gathering information towards a subject. So eventually you build that up.
Yeah.
So yes, I'd like to direct anime, and then other short-term goals is I'd like to finish this course I've been doing for content design. I started in January. I'm still not yet done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
learning is hard.
I think I really like to understand things, so I take my time to learn things, like to fully understand and integrate it in my day-to-day stuff.
Cool.
So that's another thing about tutorials. You're not supposed to watch it like movies. I mean, it's not a movie. Even movie, okay, let me not go there. But yeah, as in watch what you can do 2 runs. You can do the first one where you're actually seeing where the guy is putting the mouse where, and try and understand what he's saying. And then what you do as you're watching, write down the questions you have that you're not so clear about. So when you do the second run, that's when now you look at the questions and try to figure out what the answers are.
Yeah.
if you still can't get those answers, then that's when now you go online and look for the answers on other tutorials.
Yeah.
So that way you're able to internalize and really get to how the course is about.
Yeah.
And then after that, you now go take a pen and paper, work on whatever tool you use, and try what you just learned.
Cool.
And it's going to suck at first, of course, but after 2-3 pages of doing consistently, it will click. And my God, when that thing happens, I don't know.
It's magical.
It's just a special kind of high. Yeah, it's magical. And you'll never forget. That's another thing. You'll never forget how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, like, are you planning on having like training sessions or workshops in future?
I'd like to. Yeah. It will be nice to hear what guys want to be trained on. Like, you see that glow thing was a very nice way to go to it. Like, it was directed.
Yeah.
So if you guys in the comments want to learn something, just comment that, and then I can figure out how to package that, and then share that.
Cool. Yeah.
Because the more I share, the more I teach guys, the more I empty my reserves of skill, so I can be able to learn
new things. Okay. Yeah.
It's a 50-50 trade-off.
Awesome. And what about like internship? Do you offer internship at Sirnare?
Yeah, we do. We actually had an intern, or we still have actually. It's just that now the whole COVID thing has kind of jolted that up. But everybody's working remotely, so I'm still monitoring their progress and their skills and how they learn. So yes, we do have internships. So if you feel that Maze, if you want an internship, please feel free to send your link or show it to info@sirnare.com and have a look. If it's good, we'll give you a call. If it's not, we want to give you a call.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Plus, I think guys should be able to follow you and like what's it called? So that I think because last time you had a call for internship, you put it out there on your social media platforms, right? So, what's it called? Handle, or how can we get to follow you on social media?
So I think on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, it's Sirnare at Sirnare. I think even on Behance it's at Sirnare.
Okay.
The only one that is not at Sirnare, I think it's LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a bit weird.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
And YouTube is Sirnare Studios, which I think I've been commenting on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sirnare Studios. I don't know. I'm trying to put up the.
Yeah, on-screen graphics, man.
Hey, yo. At least it's not all bad. We tried, yeah. Live. Yeah. I don't know. I'll try to figure out if you can make this more fancy, like put even like high tech. It looks like that Star Wars board meeting with like holograms. That would be nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But I think I appreciate that we actually did this. So props to ourselves.
Yeah, man.
That because it was a conversation we had and we have actually done it.
Yeah, progress.
Yeah.
It just didn't sit there. Yeah. So, would you be open to like do more of these hangout sessions?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. It makes this whole
quarantine thing,
self-quarantine, less lonely.
Yeah, man, it's cool. In fact, maybe we could have like a drawing session where we kind of like draw something live for like an hour and talk about the process. So like how you interpret the concept, how I interpret it, and share it. Just talk about it, right? That would be cool. Yeah.
That's a good idea. I agree.
Cool. So we're about to finish. I'm just looking one last time on the comments. Okay, yeah. I think
apologies, guys, that we had a very weird start. Hopefully next time we shall have a more smoother
Starts.
transition. Okay.
Yeah.
But thank you to everybody who has actually gotten to this point. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. I think the stream was recorded, and it should be up in case somebody missed something when starting. So next time we'll alert them early, right? We'll put up the poster like today. That's terrible. But yeah, we'll try to alert them early and schedule early. Cool. So awesome. Thank you so much, Shani, for joining me today, hanging out. Yeah, at least it was a day well spent.
I agree.
Cool. All right, guys. So personally, Shadi, I'll also be putting up more web streams, so at least you'll be seeing a lot more of my face while I'm drawing things. I have a current project I'm working on, which I think I'll do the video tomorrow, or no, the day after tomorrow. Yeah. So stay tuned. You'll see more. Right?
Awesome.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. All right.
Right.